Let's learn a beautiful concept, and the concept which you are learning right now is nothing but called as parallel lines. Now, this is not the first time you're listening to this. What do we mean by parallel lines? Let me give you an example, and I'll take up two lines from the word itself, that is parallel, right? Observe these two lines now. Let's say one line is L, the other one is M, right? These are two lines, and I'm taking two more lines. Observe, one is line X, the other one is line Y. Observe these two lines. Tell me, are these two lines intersecting each other? You will say, no, they are not intersecting each other. But extend these two lines. Now, when you extend them, you'll realize that they intersect each other at a point. Let's say they are intersecting each other at a point A here. So, these two lines, they are intersecting each other. Whereas, if you extend these two lines infinitely, line L and line M, tell me, it will go on and on and on and on. Will they intersect each other? No. Such lines are called as parallel lines. So what are parallel lines? Lines which line the same plane and do not intersect each other are called as parallel lines. So remember that. Now when we talk about parallel lines and talk about examples of parallel lines in day-to-day life, you'll say there are a lot of examples, right? A lot of examples which you come across. Let me give you one example as such. It's nothing but a railway track. You will say, yes, this is nothing but lines here. These tracks, they are parallel to each other. They will not intersect. Even if you see those wooden planks which you see in between those tracks, they are also parallel to each other. They will not intersect each other. One more example, we take a ladder. Now, if you see these ladders, they are those vertical lines, they will not intersect each other, they'll just go on and on and on, they'll not intersect each other, they are parallel. Even those horizontal wooden planks which you see, they are not going to intersect each other. That means those are examples of parallel lines. So we now know what are parallel lines. When are two lines said to be parallel? We know that. When are two lines said to be parallel? If they line the same plane and do not intersect each other, we call them as parallel lines. Let's understand a beautiful concept. One more. We have two lines here, line L and line M. Are they parallel lines? No, because they will intersect each other, right? I'm going to consider another line. The name of that line is X. Now this line X, if you see, it is intersecting line L at a point, right? And it is intersecting line M at a point, that is point Q. It is intersecting line L at point P and line M at point Q. That means you will see that this line X is intersecting lines L and M at two distinct points. Such a line is called as a transversal. So that means we can say here, in this figure, we have line X, it is a transversal for line L and line M. So what do we mean by a transversal? It's a very simple thing. A line which is intersecting two or more lines at distinct points is called as a transversal. So we say here that line X is a transversal for lines L and M. So we understood what a transversal is, right? Now, understand some more things now. This is going to be very interesting. Again, we have two lines. One is line L, the other one is line M. Look at that line X. Is that a transversal for lines L and M? Yes. So here we have two lines intersected by a transversal. Now this is going to be very exciting. This is something which we need to learn. Understand this. So when we have two lines intersected by a transversal, at point P, observe and tell me at that point P, at that vertex P, how many angles can be formed? Observe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same way you will say, yes, at point Q also we'll have 4 angles. Let's name them. Let's number them as 5, 6, 7 and 8. That means you are saying that when we have two lines intersected by a transversal, we have totally 8 angles here. 4 at point P, 4 at point Q, right? So this is one set of angles. This is the other set of angles which we have, right? Now what we are learning is, we are going to form pairs of angles. Now how are you going to form that pair is very simple. You're going to pick up one angle from this set of angles which are formed at P and the other angle from these angles which are formed at Q. And that is going to be one pair. Now there are different pairs which will create like this, and those pairs have been classified as corresponding angles, alternate angles and interior angles. Is that clear? That's the most important thing. So remember, what are this? These are nothing but pairs of angles. Remember, when we are creating this pair, it is one angle we pick up from the set of angles which are formed at P, the other angle from the set of angles which are formed at Q. That is what we need to understand. And those angles are classified as corresponding angles, alternate angles and interior angles. Now let's understand each of them one by one. Let's understand. Let's see the very first one, that is corresponding angles. Let's understand this. Now let's first understand what will this mean. What does this mean? Corresponding angles, when we say, they are nothing but matching angles on the same side. I repeat, what are they? Matching angles on the same side. Now when I say on the same side, what does this mean? Let's understand. It's very simple. Now when I'm saying angles, yes, it is angles because we are talking about pair of angles. So I said one angle is going to be from here and the other angle is going to be from the other set, right? So suppose I consider one angle here, that is angle 1, right? I said matching angles on the same side. Now observe this very carefully. When we say on the same side, we are referring to the side with respect to the transversal. Now the moment we have this transversal, there are two sides. Yes, one is to the right, the other one is to the left. So when I'm saying on the same side, that means we are searching for angles here on this side, right? Okay, forget that side for the time being. So matching angles on the same side. So I want an angle which is matching to this, angle 1. Now when I say matching, what do you mean by this? Look at this angle 1 carefully. This angle is on this side. When I say this side, it is on the right hand side of this transversal. And this angle is above the line. So do we have an angle here on this side which is matching this angle 1? On this side and above the line. Do we have that? Yes, if you look here, look at this angle now. Observe this angle. This angle number 5, this is an angle on the same side and this is above the line. So angle 1 and angle 5 are the two angles which are on the same side and they are matching. So is that clear? Matching angles on the same side. I repeat, matching angles on the same side. Above the line. Isn't it? And on the same side, that is one set, that is one pair of corresponding angles. So wasn't that easy? Now you'll say, there is one more pair on this side. You know how? Matching. Yes, you're very clear. Look at that angle number 3. Now it is on this side, right? And this angle, if you observe, it is below the line. Observe, it is below the line. Now do we have an angle on this side which is matching this angle number 3 on the same side and below the line? Do we have an angle? Yes, you are saying yes, we have that angle, and that is nothing but angle number 3 and angle number 7. So matching angles on the same side. I repeat, matching angles on the same side. Isn't that easy? So you said on one side of the transversal we got two pair of corresponding angles. So now you would say, yes, there is another side. There's another side there. So can we get two more pairs? You're very correct. We are going to get that. Observe now. So for angle number 2, which is on that side, it is above the line. Do we have an angle there above the line? Yes, we have. That is nothing but angle number 6. That means angle 2 and angle 6 is the third pair of corresponding angle which we get. Now, aren't you excited to give me the next one, the last one which we have? Yes, there are 4 pair of corresponding angles. Let's find the fourth one. Which is that? It is on that side. Now we are going to consider that angle number 4. So it is below the line. Do we have an angle below the line there? Observe. Yes, yes, yes. Which is that? That is nothing but angle number 8. So you are seeing that angle number 4 and angle number 8 is the fourth pair of corresponding angle. So remember, my dear child, whenever we have two lines intersected by a transversal, we will always have 4 pairs of corresponding angles. So what are corresponding angles? Matching angles on the same side. It's so very easy to identify. Now we understood this, but every time when you have to identify corresponding angles, when two lines are intersected by a transversal, you need not go through all of this. There's a very easy way of identifying this. Observe this. Angle number 3 and angle number 7. Observe this very carefully and look at that alphabet which is formed. What is that alphabet? That alphabet is nothing but it's the letter F. And if you look at that, these angles which are formed here in this letter F is nothing but it's a pair of corresponding angles. So when we talk about corresponding angle, remember the letter F. I repeat, when we talk about corresponding angle, remember the letter F. From that F, that pair of angle which we get is nothing but it's a pair of corresponding angle. Is that clear? That's very simple. So here below the line, below the line. So same way, you have another pair there. Observe that it is again the letter F, only thing is it is the inverted F. Right? And it is, if you see there, above the line, above the line. Here it was below the line, isn't it? That's how you identify. So you have two Fs on one side of the transversal. One F and the other one is the inverted. Now, can we get the same way on the other side? Yes. Observe. Only thing is it's a flipped one. Right? It's a flipped F. So if you see there, now you have that. Yes, that's the other pair. And the last one, if you have there. So that means what you observed is, whenever we have corresponding angles, how to identify the pair of corresponding angles is very simple. Just remember the letter F. And in that, angle below. On the same side, inverted one, above. Isn't that easy? Same way, you go on to the other side and you'll get two more pair of corresponding angles. So isn't that easy to identify corresponding angles? Matching angles on the same side. So now you'll say this is very, very easy. We understood how to identify corresponding angle. Let's go on to the next pair of angle. And the next pair of angle which you're talking about is nothing but alternate angles. Now what do you mean by this? Let's understand that. It's very simple. Now when we say alternate angles, it is nothing but, the statement goes like this. It is angles on opposite side. Angles on opposite side and in opposite direction. In opposite side, in opposite direction. Angles on opposite side, in opposite direction. Now let's understand this. So when we say side, I said it is with reference to the transversal. The transversal here is X, right? Angles on opposite side. Right, let's understand this. I said angles, obviously it is a pair of angle, right? One from this side, the other one from this side. So let's say from this side, the angles which are formed at P, I'm considering this angle, angle 4. Observe that. So I'm going to search for one more angle, right? I want an angle which is on the opposite side and in opposite direction. First look at this angle. Now if you look at this angle, it is on the left hand side of the transversal, correct? The left hand side of the transversal. And here if you observe this angle, look at the direction, it is in downward direction. It is below the line, correct? I repeat once again, what is this? It is nothing but, if you look at this particular angle here, it is nothing but, it is on one side, right? It is on the left hand side of the transversal and the direction is below, right? Now we are talking about angle which is on the opposite side. So left hand side, now we are going to search for an angle on the right hand side and the direction has to be opposite. Here it is below the line, so here it has to be above the line. Beautiful. And that angle here which you're going to get is nothing but, that is angle number 5. And that is angle number 5. That means what we are saying is angle 4 and angle 5 is a pair of alternate angle. Angles on opposite side and in opposite direction. Now I gave you one pair of alternate angle. Can you find one more? Think over it. Yes, you will say, let's start here on this side. That is angle number 3. Beautiful. You got an angle number 3. Observe this angle. This is on the right hand side and this angle, it is below. So now you search for an angle there which is on that side and the direction should be above the line. Tell me that angle. Which is that angle? Yes, that angle is nothing but, you will say that is angle number 6. That means the next pair of alternate angle which you get is angle number 3 and angle number 6. So what's that easy? Very simple. Angles on opposite side and in opposite direction. Beautiful. Easy. Very easy, right? Let's proceed further. Now my question is, can we have one more pair of angle which is satisfying the same condition? Let's observe. Observe this very carefully. Observe this angle. This is on the left hand side, right? The direction is above the line, right? Above the line. It is not inside, it is outside there, above the line. Can we get an angle on this side, on the right hand side of the transversal? Again, those angles are not within this. It is here, it is above, here it has to be below the line. Do you have an angle which is satisfying that condition? Observe very carefully. And that is nothing but angle number 7, angle number 2 and angle number 7. This is another pair of alternate angle. But remember one thing which I wanted you to understand, and this is very, very, very important. I said we have two pairs of alternate angles. When two lines are intersected by a transversal, we get two pair of alternate angles. We got that. So how come you got this? Yes, observe this. Now these two alternate angles which you saw, these two pairs of alternate angles which we saw is nothing but these are formed within these two lines. Right? If you observe, these are within these two lines. So we can say that they are alternate interior angles. So they are alternate angles, but they are interior within the line. So we call them as alternate interior angles. So now you will say these two angles, that is angle 2 and angle 7, they are alternate, but they are outside. That means, what is the name that comes to your mind? And you're very correct, what you're thinking is nothing but they are called as alternate exterior angles. Beautiful, very easy, very, very easy. Now you know what, understand this. It's very easy. You had a pair of alternate angle here, alternate interior angle here, just beside this angle 2, just beside this angle 7. That's the other pair of alternate exterior angle. They'll say you have another pair of alternate interior angles. So can we have one more pair of alternate exterior? And what you're thinking is very correct. You're very, very correct. Look at that angle number 1. This angle is on one side, on the right hand side here, and if you look at this, it is above. So do you have an angle on the other side which is nothing but on that side and below? Opposite direction, opposite side, right? That is angle number 1 and angle number 8, and that's the other pair of alternate angle, but it is alternate exterior. So remember, my dear child, whenever we have two lines intersected by a transversal, we have two pair of alternate angles, and whenever we refer to alternate angles, it is always supposed to be alternate interior. If it has to be alternate exterior, they will specify, identify alternate exterior. Otherwise, if we are asked to identify alternate angle, it always means alternate interior angles. Remember that. And 99% of the time when we are doing sums, we are going to use alternate interior angles and not alternate exterior. But we should know the classification. Is that easy? Very simple. Now, like we saw, for corresponding angles, we have the letter F. So for alternate angles also, there has to be something. What is that something? Let's understand that. Observe this. Look at that pair, the first pair, angle 4 and angle 5. Look at that pair and tell me which letter, which alphabet does it show? It is nothing but the letter Z. That means for alternate angles, look at the letter Z. Identify the letter Z. Search for the letter Z. And the angle which you get there is nothing but it's a pair of alternate interior angles. Now, you will have the flip one, the other Z there, and that is the next pair of alternate interior angles. So, isn't that easy to identify? Now you understood how you are doing it, right? Very easy. So, now we understood what are corresponding angles. Remember the letter F. Alternate angles, remember the letter Z. Now, coming on to the next one, the last one which we have, and that is nothing but interior angles. Now, what are interior angles? They are nothing but angles within the two lines on the same side. Now, that's the easiest one to identify. It's so simple. The name itself says interior. So, it's going to be interior for those two lines. The only condition is they're on the same side, not on opposite side. Right? They're on the same side. Now, I identify here. We're talking about angles, obviously, one from this and from the other one. Identifying angles which are between the two lines on the same side. So, on the same side, we are looking for angles here on this side. Right? Within the line, right, there is angle 3, the other one is angle 5. It's that very easy. That means we can say that angle 3 and angle 5 is a pair of interior angle. Angles on the same side within the two lines. Within the two lines. Now you'll say, we'll have one more pair like this, isn't it? On the other side, what is that? It's so easy to identify. That is nothing but angle number 4 and angle number 6. Beautiful. That means when two lines are intersected by a transversal, we have two pairs of interior angles. Isn't that easy? Very easy to identify this. Beautiful. You understood this, right? Like we had letter F for corresponding angles, letter Z for alternate angles, same for interior angles. Interior angles, we have a letter. Observe, see that. What is that? It's the letter C. Beautiful. That's the pair of interior angles. Now you have a flipped C on the other side. Observe that, and that is nothing but the other pair of interior angles which we have. So now we have understood. Remember how to identify this. This is very, very easy. Corresponding angles, letter F. Alternate angle, letter Z. Interior angle, letter C. Now let's go ahead. I'll give you two lines here intersected by a transversal, and this time we have the angles formed at X and Y. And those angles now I am referring it as angle A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And I want you to identify and write the pairs of corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and interior angles. So let's start. You're going to help me out with this. The first one, corresponding angles. How do you identify this? Come on, let's start. Corresponding angles. Don't look at the definition. It's very simple. I gave you a letter. What is that letter? The letter F. Beautiful. So look at that letter F. Yes, you have that angle. What is that pair of angle here? That is nothing but we have angle D and angle H. That is one pair. That's the first pair of corresponding angle which you got. On the same side, you can have one more, the inverted one. Beautiful. That is nothing but angle A and angle E. That's the second pair of corresponding angles which you got. Was that easy? Now you know the same way you'll have two pairs on the other side. Let's get that. So how do we get that? That is nothing but letter C here and G. So what do you have? It is angle C and angle G. Same way on the other side you have the inverted one. So what do we get? We get that it is angle B and angle F. So these are the four pairs of corresponding. Now, so isn't that easy to identify the pair of corresponding angles when two lines are intersected by a transversal? It's so very easy, right? Let's go on to the next one. So first one is done. Let's go for the next one. It is alternate interior angles. Now we know alternate interior. Which letter? We are talking about the letter Z. Identify that. You got the letter Z. See the angle. That is angle C and angle E. That is the first pair of alternate interior angles which we got. Right? Now, can we write the next one? Now remember one thing, the moment we get alternate interior, we get a pair of alternate exterior too. At the same time we should write, that is better. So this is alternate interior, the exterior one is just the one which is forming a linear pair with that. So with angle C it is angle B, with angle E it is angle H. That means angle B and angle H is the first pair of alternate exterior angles. Easy? Very easy, right? Let's say now, can we identify the next pair, the second pair of alternate interior angles? Let's do that. That is nothing but here we have that as angle D and angle F. That's the second pair of alternate interior angles. Now, the moment you got this, with the help of this, can we get the alternate exterior one? That is angle A and angle G. That is what we write there, angle and angle G. That's the next pair of alternate exterior angles. Was that easy? Very easy, right? So we got now corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angle. What is left now? We have to just identify interior angles. Now interior angles, which letter? Remember the letter is nothing but C. So identify that here. So letter C here, which one is that? Angle D and angle E. Beautiful. And the next one, which is that one? We get it as, yes, that is very simple. That is angle C and angle F. That's the second pair of interior angles which we had. And wasn't this easy? It's so very simple. Now we know when two lines are intersected by a transversal, we know how to identify corresponding angles. Just remember the letter F. Alternate interior angles, remember the letter Z. Alternate exterior angles, no. When we get the alternate interior angle, we can automatically identify the alternate exterior, right? No letter for that. And same way, interior, that's the letter C. So was that easy? Very easy, right?
And yes, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon.